Welcome to British BioMedicine Institute. Today I, Dr. Pramod Khatri, Medical Director of British BioMedicine Institute, is going to represent a simple topic named as human biology with its orientation. So basically your human body is being divided into two shapes like anatomy and physiology. Anatomy is the study of structure and shape of body and its part. And physiology is the study of how the body and its part works and function. So in the gross anatomy there are various large structures and which are easily observable, and there are various microscopic anatomy which are very small structures and they can be viewed with the help of a microscope. So there are various levels of cellular organizations like at your molecular level or atom levels, then where your atoms get combined to form molecules, and at cellular level the cells are made up of molecules, and at tissue levels tissue consists of your similar type of cells which can be your smooth muscles tissue, and at organ level organs are made up of different type of tissues like your epithelial tissue or smooth muscle cells, and they also helps in blood vessel organs. And even there at organ system level consist of different organs that work closely, and at organism level human organisms are made up of many organ systems. So the integumentary is the external body covering, and it protects the inner deeper tissue from injury and drying out. It helps in the synthesis of vitamin D and location of cutaneous nerve receptors. The skeleton helps in protection and support of body organs, and it provides muscles attachment for movement, and it helps in blood cell formation, and it also stores minerals. The muscular system helps in locomotion. They maintain the posture and also produce heat. Nervous system is the fast acting control system, and it usually responds to internal or external stimuli or any changes, and it also activates muscles and gland. Endocrine, it helps in secretion of various hormones like growth hormone. It helps in reproduction and also helps in metabolism. There are various glands which are available like your pineal glands, pituitary glands, thyroid gland, thymus gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, testes and ovaries. Cardiovascular, they helps in transfer of material in the body via blood pump by the heart, and they usually transport oxygen, expel carbon dioxide, and they intake nutrients and remove waste material. Lymphatic system, which consists of thoracic duct, lymph node and lymphatic vessels, they helps in return fluid to blood vessels, and they also destroy or dispose of debris, and they are involved in immunity which helps in destruction of tumor cells and bacteria. Respiratory consists of nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus and left lungs. It helps in keeping the blood supply with oxygen, and they remove carbon dioxide. Digestive system helps in breakdown of your food, and it consists of oral cavity, esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. They allow nutrient absorption from the blood, and they eliminate indigestible materials. Urinary system consists of your kidney, ureter, bladder, urinary bladder and urethra. They helps in elimination of nitrogenous waste and they maintain acid base level. They also helps in regulation of minerals, water and electrolytes. Reproductive system helps in reproduction and production of new offsprings. So various organs are available in male and female for this type of reproductive activities. So now comes it helps in maintaining boundaries, keep the body internal environment distinct from external environment like your skin and membrane. They helps in locomotion or movement of the substances and they have a ability to sense change and any types of reactions and they helps in digestion like breakdown and delivery of the nutrients. They also helps in metabolism where all chemical reactions continue inside the body and there is a generation of ATP or energy and they helps in making body structure. And with the help of excretory system, they can help in elimination of waste from metabolic reactions and that can be excreted. Next is your reproductions. They helps in production of future generations and they also provide new cells for repair and growth. Whereas growth hormones, they increase the cell size and number. Next is survival. Nutrients helps in chemical for energy and cell buildings. They include basically your proteins, lipids, vitamin, minerals and carbohydrates and oxygen is required to carry out various chemical reactions. Water is, our body is made up of 60 to 80% of water, total body weight is covered and it also provides various metabolic reactions. They also helps in stable body temperature and atmospheric pressure is being maintained at a specific level. Homeostasis. They helps in maintenance of a stable internal environment which is a dynamic state of equilibrium. Homeostasis must be maintained for normal body functioning and to sustain life. And if there is a homeostatic imbalance, then it can lead to disturbance which can result in disease. The body communicates through neural and hormonal control systems like your receptors. They respond to change in the environment with the help of stimuli which send information to the control center. The control center will determine set point. They helps in analyzing the information and determine appropriate quick response or reaction. Whereas effectors, they provide a means for response to the stimuli. So the stable operating conditions in the internal environment consist of three components like your receptor, which are free nerve endings in the skin, an integrator like your brain, and effector can be your muscles and glands, and then a quick response is generated and the response to the stimulus lead to change. The change is feedback to the receptor. In negative feedback, the response of system cancels or counteract the effect of original stimuli. So the negative feedback consists of mostly homeostatic control mechanism. It shut off the original stimuli and reduce its intensity, and it works like a household thermostat. So your positive feedback helps in increasing the original stimuli to push the variable further. In the body, this only occurs in blood clotting and birth of the baby. So through this diagram, it is clearly visible that stimulus is being relayed to the brain an endocrine center is activated, which helps in activation of oxytocin, and oxytocin will be transported to its target tissue where effector will work and the muscles in uterine wall contract and a response is generated and contraction and further distortion of the uterus, and then there is a stretch which ultimately result in urine wall and extreme distortion of uterus can happen. The spatial terminology is used to prevent misunderstanding. The exact terms are used like your position, direction, region and structure. Now comes the orientation. If it is superior or cranial, then there will be toward the head and an upper part of the structure of the body and above. For example, forehead is your superior to your nose. If it is inferior or caudal, it is away from the head and toward the lower part of the structure of the body below. So if like your navel is inferior to the breastbone. If it is anterior or ventral, then it is toward or at the end of the body in front of, like the breastbone is anterior to the spine. If it is posterior or dorsal, then it is toward the back side of the body or it is behind, and the heart is posterior to the breastbone. Medial, it is toward or in the midline of the body or in the inner side. The heart is medial of the arm. Lateral, it is basically away from the midline of the body or on the outer side of, like your arms are lateral to the chest. Intermediate, between your more medial or a more lateral structure, like your armpit is intermediate between shoulder and breastbone. Proximal is close to the origin of the body part or the point of attachment of a limb or to a body trunk. The elbow is proximal to the wrist, meaning that elbow is closer to the shoulder and attachment point of the arm than the wrist is. Distal. Distal is farther away from the origin of the body part or the point of attachment of limbs to the body trunk. The knee is distal to the thigh. Superficial. It is toward or at the body surface, like the skin is superficial on the skeleton. And deep, it is away from body surface, more like internal, and like your lungs are deep on the ribs cage. Now comes the landmark. So through this picture, it is visible that the various like your orbital, buccal, sternal, capillary, pelvic, they are showing your anterior part, your front side. And posterior is the back side of the body, which consists of occipital, deltoid, scapular, vertebral, lumbar, sacral, gluteal, popliteal, sural or femoral. Back side. So median is your mid-sagittal, frontal is your coronal plane, and transverse plane is the half, which like your spinal cord, aorta, spleen, stomach content, liver and cutaneous, whereas frontal plane consists of your like your right lungs, heart and left lungs, spleen, stomach, and your mid-sagittal they consist of like your brain, spinal cord, nose, tongue and trachea. Next is body cavity. The body cavity is basically divided into thoracic cavity, diaphragm, abdominal cavity and pelvic cavity, also known as abdominopelvic cavity. So there are basically two types of cavity, like dorsal body cavity and ventral body cavity. Next is abdominal quadrant. They consist of your right upper quadrant, left upper quadrant and right lower quadrant and left lower quadrant. Major organs are your heart, diaphragm, lungs, liver, small intestine, rectum and colon, or also known as large intestine. The abdominopelvic quadrant and region, they basically consist of your right hypochondric region and left hypochondric regions, and the lower part or median part consists of your epigastric region, umbilical region or hypoglossal region, whereas your quadrant or regions, they are useful because there is a known relationship between superficial anatomical landmark and underlying organs, which consist of your liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen, small intestine, large intestine and appendix. So this is all about the musculoskeletal tissue topic. Hope you have gained a lot of clinical information through this presentation. Please like, share, subscribe our YouTube channel named as British Biomedicine Institute. Good luck. Goodbye.